Hi, today we're going to look at midpoint. The midpoint is the point halfway between 2 points. It's easiest to use a formula for calculating the midpoint. In class we tried to do it on the graph, but we found that the formula was probably easier to do. To calculate the midpoint, we have to find the halfway point between the x's and between the y's, and then write it as a coordinate, x and y. But you have to remember that x always comes before y. So to find the midpoint of the line joining -3, 5 and 4, -3, we have to use the formula. Now the formula says you have to add the two x parts together and divide by 2. That finds halfway between the x's. Then we have to add the two y's, the first y and the second y, and divide that by 2 to find the halfway. Now it might look a bit complicated, but it's not really. When you look at an example, you'll see how to do it. So to find the gradient of the line joining the point -3, 5 and 4, -3, well, I decided we'd draw a graph first so we can just see what's going on. These are the 2 points. But what I have to do is I've got to add the x's and halve them and add the y's and halve them. Now if you look at our points here, this is the x and this is the y. This is the x and this is the y. So I've got to take the x and add them, and I've got to get the y and add them, and then divide both the answers by 2. So let's have a look. To find the x, we'll just set it up and make it like coordinates. So I'm going to have brackets to start with. Find out what our point's going to be. Now the x's that I've got to do are 4 and -3. So I get my 4 and my -3, and then what I have to do is divide by 2. Now I have to get my y's and add them together and divide by 2. Now my y's are 5 and -3. So I have to put a minus in there. Now what I have to do is divide that by 2. Now when I work that out, 4 -3 is 1. Divide that by 2. And that just gives me a half. Now I've got to do 5 -3. 5 -3 is 2. And I have to divide that by 2. And I think that you all know that 1 divided by 2 is just a half, and 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I can write that. I'll put my brackets in here to make sure it looks like a point. That's equals, and that equals a half. That's simplified. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And that means my midpoint is the point a half 1. So I've got to go across to a half and up to 1. And there it is, little smiley face for my midpoint. So I can write the coordinates again, a half and 1. So just going through that quickly, again to work out the midpoint, I take my x's, add them together and divide by 2. I take my y's, add them together and divide by 2, and that gives me the midpoint.